So Zootopia killed it during its opening weekend of March 6th of 2016 at the box office. And honestly, rightfully so. This movie was gorgeously animated and strongly poignant with a mature message that will resonate with kids and adults alike. Lovable characters and attention to detail tell a tale of overcoming stereotypes and prejudice from all sides, and that tolerance can only happen if all facets of society want it and work hard for it. And the main characters are adorable. Amazing Officer Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde will steal your hearts with an absolutely gorgeous friendship, my new bro TP of all time. I need about 8 more movies of these two kicking butt and learning life lessons together. Go watch it, give it your money, so that more films like this can be made, intelligent and thoughtful pieces that should stand the test of time. Okay, so while like me, many people loved the film, or were at least excited for it, there was a fair bit of trepidation approaching it, and upon its release, a whisper of a part of fandom that many like to ignore and keep hidden was brought to light. I'm talking, of course, about furries. This is Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, and we're going to use Zootopia to discuss what is a furry and why do people not like them. Since seeing the animation for the film, it was clear that the characters were adorable, especially protagonist Judy Hopps, which put some people on guard thinking, oh great, here come the furries. So let's start with the basics. What is a furry? This is a harder question to answer than you'd think. Even in the furry fandom, there are arguments as to what makes a true furry. But for the layman, a furry is someone who has an intense appreciation for anthropomorphic animals. The key word here is anthropomorphic, so not regular animals, but animals with human characteristics, physical as well as mental. Some people say that just liking anthropomorphic animals makes you a furry, while others say you have to use furry lingo, so specific terms and phrases which have grown over time thanks to furry conventions or furcons, which have been going on since the mid-80s. Okay, so far doesn't sound so bad, right? I mean, a bit out of left field, sure, but cosplaying is a huge part of fandom in general, and there are many really good works out there involving animal characters, so why does this subset of fandom have such a stigma? Enter the sexual component. Firstly, it's important to note that not all who identify as furries are into sexual content featuring anthropomorphic creatures or fantasize about it at all. They just like the characters in a platonic way. However, part of fandom, roleplay, and creating transformative works such as fan fiction and fan art has always had a sexual element since the very outset, and furries are no different. Zootopia has already garnered some very not safe for work pieces of fan art out there, and others in the fan community are moving to ban it. Why is this? Well, the key thing here is that this is sexual activity between animals, and there is an element of zoophilia, that being the sexual attraction to animals, and that makes many people uncomfortable. As much as there are some animal lovers out there, most don't love them that much. And there is the idea that finding furries with other furries attractive or engaging in such roleplay is akin to bestiality, which is a huge taboo in most societies. This goes double because most of the times, outside of original roleplay works, these materials are often geared or marketed towards children, just like Zootopia. So there is a chastity to the proceedings between Nick and Judy that makes sexualization seem extra perverse. Because of this, there is just a much more charged energy around works like this. I mean, if these were humans and this was a human buddy cop relationship, few people would bat an eye about sexualizing it. So this brings us to another question that many people have. Is being a furry wrong? Well, hating on any subset of fandom makes the entirety of fan communities look bad, though it can be frustrating to have a fringe subset brought out to represent the deviance, in quotation marks, of the whole, which often happens with furries. Non-fans like to look and point and be like, ugh, gross, told you they were weird. And no one wants that. However, it's also not cool to punish people for their preferences. So let's address some of the fears, namely bestiality. In 2008, a survey found that 17% of those surveyed within the furry family admitted to paraphilia, that being a condition characterized by abnormal sexual desires. And this 17% admitted to zoophilia, which is again the sexual attraction towards animals. But not actual animals, but rather the anthropomorphic ones. So for many furries, they aren't seeing these creatures as animals at all, but humans with the physical appearance of animals, many of which people like. Soft fur, cool cat eyes, really sensitive and mobile ears. I'm sure you've all seen the cat ladies. That being said, it is clear why this small subset within the subset itself puts people off. It's definitely not for everyone, and most people are gonna find it weird. That's just how it is. It's easy to be repelled by something that has very negative connotations in real life, but don't let someone else's enjoyment of a fandom take away from yours. If you love Zootopia exactly as it is, that's great. And if you're someone who loves drawing fan art of wild banging hobs, you know what? Okay, live and let live. As long as someone isn't telling you to go out there and try and mate a fox with a rabbit, or going to have sex with their rabbit, you know what? Odd, but okay. If you don't like their art or their transformative works, click away. And if it's not safe for work in your community, remove it under those grounds. No nudity means no nudity. Doesn't matter who the characters are. And let's do our utmost to not shame people for their likes or dislikes. At some point, most people have or will find themselves in an unpopular part of fandom, and there's nothing worse than being bullied for something you like. Am I a furry? No. Do I like anthropomorphic animal movies? Sure. Do I want to see them have sex? No. But do I think everyone who's into that is into bestiality? No. There's a huge line between fiction and reality, and fantasy and reality. And while yes, there is a danger of blurring, for the vast majority of people, compartmentalization is not a problem. One of my first ships ever was Jackson Ripner and Lise from Red Eye. Does that mean that if I get approached by a contract killer, my first response won't be to call the police? Hell no. 911. So let's try to take people as individuals. Not all furries are into sexual stuff, and not all the ones that are into it because they're into bestiality. Let's try not to judge groups as a whole just because they seem odd or impenetrable. After all, isn't that the message of Zootopia? In Zootopia, it says everyone must work together to learn to tolerate each other and create a world we all want to live in. Sounds like good advice to me. This was Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. Share all your Zootopia thoughts down below. I'm a nerd and bought plushies of Judy and Nick. Did you guys pick up any horizontal marketing merchandise? Let me know that too down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.